American Public University Systems Senior Seminar. Rachel Carson's Silent Spring, A Critical Review by Jonathan Aaron Connor, November 11th, 2017. Rachel Louise Carson, born 1907, died 1964. She is described as a writer, a scientist, and an ecologist. Her career began early as a writer and editor for many publications. She wrote 3 books before Silent Spring that primarily focused on marine life and the sea. In 1962, she wrote Silent Spring, a book that challenged the chemicals and pesticides, such as DDT, that were extremely harmful and toxic. She is credited with pioneering the contemporary environmental movement with her book Silent Spring. She began her academic career as an English major, but changed it to biology, where she graduated magna cum laude from the Pennsylvania College for Women. She won a scholarship to Woods Hole Marine Biological Laboratory, and she completed an MA in zoology at Johns Hopkins University. She went on to be a teacher at the Dental and Pharmacy School at the University of Maryland. After her academic career, she got a job as a junior wildlife biologist and junior aquatic biologist in the U.S. Bureau of Fisheries in Washington, D.C. Once the Bureau of Fisheries merged into the U.S. Fish and Wildlife Service, she became an aquatic biologist. She eventually resigned from the Fish and Wildlife Service to write full-time. She has published a large number of articles and books. World War II saw the rise of synthetic chemicals. With uses from warfare to insect control, these chemicals were highly effective. Post-war America, 1950s to the 1960s, saw the rise of industrial giants. One such type are the chemical companies. Chemical companies began developing chemicals, first seen during the war, to make life easier for people. The same chemicals used to prevent malaria were mass-produced to kill insects and unwanted plants. Unfortunately, the widespread indiscriminate spraying was conducted without the knowledge of long-term effects. One such chemical used for insect control was DDT. This was the first synthetically produced chemical to be used to kill disease-bearing insects. The Environmental Protection Agency describes the initial use of DDT to combat malaria, typhus, and the other insect-borne human diseases among both military and civilian populations. Silent Spring was written by Rachel Carson after she began noticing some of the negative effects reported by people exposed, either directly or indirectly, to chemical insecticides and herbicides. This book served to be the first accounting of the hazards associated with synthetic chemicals. More importantly, this book focused on the negative effects of indiscriminate spraying. Rachel Carson provided a scientific-based facts with a flair of poetry to deliver her message without condescension or alienating her less scientific readers. She provided relatable examples that were easily understood. With the atomic ending of the Second World War and the threat of nuclear holocaust from the USSR and Cuban Missile Crisis fresh and vivid in people's minds, she begins her book with comparing the hazardous effects of chemical exposure to radiological contamination. She accomplished this by writing, "Chemicals are the sinister and little recognized partners of radiation." Silent Spring has been credited with being the catalyst to the modern environmental movement. Rachel Carson was invited to testify before Congress in 1963, 1 year after her book Silent Spring was published. It is a testament to the efficacy of her book that by 1975, all of the hazardous chemicals listed in Silent Spring were banned. The book also caught the attention of then President John F. Kennedy. President Kennedy appointed a presidential committee to study pesticides. Silent Spring elevated concern and awareness of the danger the environment was in and provided the environmental movement the impetus it needed to begin. Silent Spring served as a seminal publication that raised the general public's awareness of hazardous chemicals and served as a catalyst to the environmental movement.